We'll be talking about the Ghana football team that's talking about the Black Stars of Ghana, where they played against the United States of America, and that game ended in a sad result for Ghana, and the fans are calling for a better team as we look forward to the AFCON 2023 that will happen in 2024 in Cote d'Ivoire. Now, that game ended 4-0 in favor of USA. And joining me to talk about this is Felix Romack. Of course, he is a sports analyst and editor for Ghana League Live. Good to have you with us, Felix.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm very well. You know, they say Nigeria jollof rice is better than Ghana jollof rice. I know you will not agree, but I know you guys are very stubborn not to agree that Nigeria jollof rice is way better.
When it comes to Ghana and Nigeria, aside the jollof rivalry, we always don't want to lose to each other, and that is how competitive that rivalry has been for years. So I'm sure you if you maybe you need to taste Ghana jollof, and that could at least give you a fair idea how it tastes like, because I have had the privilege of tasting Nigerian jollof, and I don't think it comes close to what we serve here in Ghana.
Wow. Well, if you are going to argue about Nigeria and Ghana jollof, we can now argue that Nigeria has won their first friendly game under Jose Peseiro. What is happening with Ghana? Why haven't they gotten a win? I mean, they played USA in 2 friendly games and they conceded 6 goals, scoring none.
Well, it's been disappointing, I should say. I think that a lot of fans are not happy with the progression of the team. The last 2 friendly, one against Mexico, and then the last one against the Americans. We lost both games, conceding 6 goals in those 2 games, and that is something that any Ghanaian won't take lightly at all. But in as much as you can talk about how tough these opponents are, because the Americans are ranked 10th in the world, the FIFA ranking, and then the Mexicans are ranked 11th. So it will always be a very tough game for a country like Ghana, who is ranked 60th in the world and not even in the African top 10 when it comes to the African aspect of the ranking. So it was going to be tough. But one of the major problems that Ghanaians are worried about is the commitment from the team and where the team is progressing to. Truth be told, I think after the AFCON 2021 in Cameroon, we've played 11 games now since that time, since our defeat to Comoros in the last game at the AFCON in 2001. Out of the 11 games, we've won only 1. We've drawn 5, and then we've lost 5. So the performance hasn't been that good for a very long time. So when we qualified to the World Cup, and then after the World Cup, when Chris Hughton got the job, we were expecting him to bring his experience. Because talking about Chris Hughton, this is somebody who has coached Newcastle, led Birmingham City into the group stage of the Europa League. He was with Brighton, brought them promotion into the English Premier League. So this was a coach who had a lot of experience, and we were thinking that this experience will be brought into the team, and we see the progression in the team. And we shouldn't also forget that for someone like Chris Hughton, a year before he got appointment to coach the Black Stars, he was acting as a technical advisor to the team. So he was already with the team, the technical aspect, for over a year now before he got the job as a substantive coach. So we were always waiting to see improvement. And if you look at the caliber of players or the profile of players that we have now, they are profile of players that needs to be playing good football. And that is where the disappointment is coming from. You can't tell me that Medeama, who plays for Lyon, Usman Bukari, who plays for Red Star Belgrade, is playing the Champions League. Thomas Partey at Arsenal, Mohamed Kudus, Alexander Djikou, Salis, who plays for Lens in the French Liga. These are players that we should be able to get the best out of them. But the coaching hasn't been good. The commitment of the players hasn't been good. And we don't see any pattern. We don't see any style. We don't see any shape for a team. Every coach in this world has an identity and has a style. For Chris Hughton, he's built his success as a coach through a defensive unit. So if you have a team that is conceding so much like we are currently doing, and we are conceding what we call schoolboy goals or schoolboy defending or a lot of errors leading to goal, that is when you question the technical aspect of what the players are being taught in camp. And for a coach like Chris, if for nothing at all, if we are not seeing progress in the team, we should be seeing progress in the defensive aspect or the defensive shape of the team. And that's what the team has been lacking for some time now. And Ghanaians have every right to complain because after these two friendly games, our next two games are in the next international, calendar, which is open for games, which will be the World Cup qualifier for the 2026 World Cup in Mexico, US, and Canada. We come up against Madagascar and Comoros.
Yeah.
And these are the next two games we have before AFCON in Ivory Coast. And we haven't seen improvement. So Ghanaians have every right. We are asking the right questions. What is happening to the team? What is happening to the players? Why are the players not showing commitment? Thomas Partey comes to Ghana, plays for himself, doesn't show commitment. Coaches try to protect him for Arsenal. Yes, we know that his Arsenal career is very, very important because they are his paymasters. But whoever gets to wear the Black Stars shirt to play for Ghana, everyone, including Partey, is expected to give 100%.
Yeah.
And currently, nobody in that team is giving us that 100%. And that is where our worry is coming from, especially when we have about 3 months to go to an AFCON we have never won in over 42 years.
True. I can feel the pain from the Ghanaian fans and the players as well, all over social media. Let's pick out some of these players as well, because you mentioned the likes of Thomas Partey. There's also one of the Inaki brothers is also in that team. And there is a Mohamed Kudus who plays in the English Premier League. There is a Jordan Ayew, a well-experienced player. And I saw on social media where Jordan Ayew said one of the major reasons why they lost USA was because of inexperience. And I'm wondering, inexperience in the fact that they've not played international games before, inexperience in the fact that they had a lot of inexperienced players in quotes. But if you look at the plethora of players that they have in the Ghana football team, they have loads of experience. So who should they fault? The players' commitments or the coaches not being able to instill discipline into that team?
I think it is both commitment from the players and then what the technical team is doing to improve the team. I totally disagree with what Jordan said about inexperience. Jordan has played for the team for a very long time. Has scored more goals even than his father, the legendary Abedi Pele, than his and than a lot of the players. If you look at somebody like Thomas Partey, he has so much experience playing for Atletico Madrid, has won the Spanish La Liga with Atletico, has played in Champions League finals. He's played with Arsenal in the Premier League. They came close to winning the league last season, so City did their thing and took it the title from them. You look at Salis, they were just a point behind PSG in the league, French Ligue 1. They played in the Champions League. Salis played in the team that defeated Arsenal some few weeks. But you look at Mohamed Kudus, several seasons at Ajax, won a lot with them, played in the Champions League, back in England playing for a team like West Ham. You look at somebody like Joseph Pence, who has been with Yang. You look at Inaki Williams. He's been one of the most consistent players in the La Liga, not just for Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
He's scoring goals. He scored 4 goals in his last 10 games in the Spanish La Liga for Atletico Bilbao. But he's played 11 games for Ghana and is yet to score. So the problem is not about experience. What I was expecting to say is leadership. Leadership. And I think that what this team lacked in the 2 games that we saw against Mexico and US was leadership. There was no leadership in the team. Thomas Partey is the deputy captain, but sometimes you question his leadership on the field. You look at somebody like Andre Ayew. Andre Ayew has so much leadership quality that sometimes when he's not playing, we miss that kind of leadership. We conceded 3 goals in 18 minutes. I'm sure if Andre, who is on your screen now, if he was on the pitch, after the first goal, the second goal, he'll tell the boys, you know what, guys, come on, go in for the tackles, press them. These are some of the things that you expect a leader to be on the field. Reason why we have captains is because they have to show leadership on the pitch where the coach is not. Because definitely the coach is on the touchline, he's not in the middle of the game. And you need players to show leadership. So that is why I was expecting the senior players on the pitch. And when I talk about the senior players, Jordan Ayew is a senior player, Thomas Partey is a senior player. they needed to show some leadership quality on the pitch, on the field of play, and that was lacking in the two games that we played. If he's talking about experience, that should be out of the window because these players have played in top leagues, have played in biggest games, they've been at the World Cup, they've been at AFCON. And you can't tell me that players that have played in such high level competitions don't have the experience.
True. Now, we're looking ahead of the next international break, and that will be in November. You mentioned rightly, we'll have the World Cup qualifiers, and then we'll have the AFCON tournament. And a lot of Ghanaian fans are saying that, look, this team is nowhere ready for the AFCON tournament. And we always point blame, saying that, look, this is just a friendly game. Probably the coach has a plan. And if the fans are not getting to see this, I'm sure they will not be satisfied with what they are saying. But should we give the coach a benefit of doubt that something would give, something would change in November during the World Cup qualifiers and the tournament as well in Cote d'Ivoire?
Well, we are worried because with 3 months to go for the AFCON, with about a month and a half to the World Cup qualifier, you want to see an improvement, and the team has not improved. And that is why we need to ask questions. We need to call for things to change. Ghana is becoming so defensive minded. Inaki Williams is not scoring because players are not giving him progressive passes. We are not progressing the ball enough to create chances for the offensive players to score. Defensively, we are not playing as a unit. And that is the problem. What we are not doing, what we need to do is that we need to be consistent. And when I talk about consistency, we need to be consistent with our call-ups. We need to be consistent with our starting 11. Gone are the days. If you look at the Ghana team in the past 10 years, you could pick a sheet of paper and say Richard Kingston will be in post, John Pento, John Mensah, Vossa would be our back four. There is Michael Essien, Sule Muntari, Steven Tonado Apia, and then maybe Kevin Prince-Boateng and Samoa up front. So it was so easy for Ghanaians to even predict their starting 11. But it is becoming difficult. We don't even know who gets to start in post for us. Nigeria can pick a team and say, you know what, definitely Osimhen will be there starting for the team. You know who will be in post for. But we can't say the same when it comes to Ghana. That is the problem. That is the problem. So we have a lot to do in terms of the two games that is coming up before the AFCON, the game against Madagascar and Comoros. And it's a must for Ghana to qualify for the World Cup. That is something we won't take for granted if they don't do that. If we go to Ivory Coast in Cameroon, in the AFCON, and we don't win it, fine, because we know that we don't have a team that is capable of winning the AFCON. But if you look at the group we find ourselves in for the World Cup qualifiers, this is a group that we should be able to qualify from.
All right, we'll look out for Ghana when the World Cup qualifiers kick off. That will be in November, and also in the tournament proper, hoping that Ghana will bring something to the table to make the fans cheer and have faith in the team, because right now the fans are not anywhere happy with what's happening with the Black Stars of Ghana. Yes, I will talk about hype, publicity. When it comes to publicity and hype and beautiful jerseys and everything, we'll give it to Ghana, but the fans are saying, as long as they're giving us quality jerseys and all of that, give us quality football. That's all we are yearning for. And we just hope that that works out for the Ghana fans. I also saw a latest rivalry between Ghana and South Africa. And I'm wondering, where is this coming from? Because South Africa made a post about Ghana's loss to USA with the number 4, about them wanting to leave for their tournament. And I'm wondering, what is going on between South Africa and Ghana? I thought it was between Ghana and Nigeria. When did South Africa come into the mix, Felix?
Well, with the South Africans, we've met them quite a number of times in terms of World Cup qualifiers. We denied them the World Cup, qualifying for the World Cup in 2006. And even with the recent World Cup that came on in Qatar, we were in the same group with them, and they thought that we had a penalty which wasn't supposed to be. They sent a petition to CAF and FIFA, and those petitions were thrown away. So they still have some pain in them that they felt we cheated them in qualifying to the Qatar World Cup. Aside that, we had a Ghanaian referee in Joseph Lamte who had officiated a game between South Africa and Senegal. And in that particular game, the referee was influenced. FIFA found out that the referee Joe Olante was influenced. They took money to officiate the game in favor of the Senegalese. That referee has been banned from football for life. He's no more a referee. So this kind of incidents and decisions, have made the South Africans feel a bit bitter towards Ghana when it comes to football. But no, we are still brothers on the African continent. But when it comes to football, this little bit of rivalry that they are pushing, maybe it's good for them because I don't think they will get to the caliber where we are in terms of football. But when it comes to rivalry in Africa, it has to be Ghana, Nigeria for the West African bloc, and maybe those AFNO. But when it comes to South Africa, I don't think they are closer to us in terms of football. What they are doing now is the bitterness that they have in terms of the officiating I spoke about to J. Olante, and then we denying them qualification to two previous World Cups.
All right, we'll see how far this will go between Ghana and South Africa. And I'm sure when they hear this, they will also come up for you and say, look, why are you talking about us? You guys should not talk about South Africa. Face your football. But we wish Ghana all the best in the upcoming games in November.
You quite remember last time on the show, we spoke about Medeama when they defeated Rhino.
Yes.
They are the only team that is making Ghana football proud now. They've been able to eliminate Horoya in the last round. They are now in the Champions League proper. They themselves were in the United States last week to play DC United, a game that they lost 2-1. So for now, the only beacon of hope we have is Medeama, who are the current Ghana Premier League champions. They are in the CAF Champions League, and they have a very tough fixture against El Ali, who are the defending champions of the CAF Champions League. So we have a little bit of moment to celebrate with what Medeama is doing for Ghana football. So all not lost, no blasters, but it's Medeama who is keeping the flag of Ghana high.
All right, we wish Medeama well in the CAF Champions League. And for Ghana, looking forward to November, hoping that they do well in the World Cup qualifiers. Thank you very much, Felix Romack, for joining us this morning.
Thank you.